But why don't you share a little bit about a watch that I know you don't particularly like, and that's the Centigraphe Sport.
Yeah, this is FP Journe. You know, for me, it's a beautiful brand.
Can you zoom out a little bit to help you
out?
That's like the fingernail camera.
There we go. So FP Journe, amazing brand. Don't get me wrong. And looking at this watch, it's absolutely beautiful. So let me see if I can get some kind of a movement shot there.
You know what would be even better maybe than a movement shot? It's made of aluminum, by the way, guys. That's the 1506 caliber in aluminum. Let's fire it up so they can see how the dial works.
Yeah, give it a try.
Okay, the Centigraphe, so named because you can literally time down to 1/100th of a second. The cool thing about this Centigraphe Sport is that it was only made from 2012 to 2014. Now, the all-aluminum watch proved uneconomical for FP Journe. Even at his micro-manufacture volumes, building the case and the bracelet from aluminum was too much of a frustration, too tedious. He gave up after 3 model years. Now, there's no consequence to the quality of the case. It holds up beautifully. He just didn't want the arduous task of making the things. So after 2014, he went back to titanium for cases and bracelets in the Sport line. And of course, the Centigraphe, as ever, timing 1 second, 20 seconds, and 10 minutes on its register. I happen to like this one because it weighs 2 ounces, literally 2 ounces. It's a 56-gram watch. Nico, not a fan.
No, and it's kind of against what I usually like to say because I wear a 38mm watch on a daily basis, and I like the fact that I have that, that comfort on my wrist of not really knowing it's there, but knowing it's there when I need it. I don't know. As far as dollar for dollar, I just wouldn't put my money into it. I respect it. I respect its capabilities and its function. I just dislike the material. That's really just what it boils down to.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to say that if I'm wearing a luxury watch, I want it to be something, well, not even like what I'm wearing. I want it to be something like this Rolex 218-206, the Date 2 41mm in platinum. If you're imagining the impromptu weight program that comes with a truly huge precious metal watch and the feeling that you're wearing something special every minute it's on your wrist, you probably want something like this, because you can't get this in a Swatch or a G-Shock MTG. You can't get this feeling in an Invicta. This is something that's exclusive to a true platinum watch. Nothing else is going to be that dense. But here's the thing. The Centigraphe Sport is a different sensibility. It's a different kind of exclusive. Even its short production run notwithstanding, the idea was that Journe, a traditionalist in terms of training, in terms of how he makes watches, the materials he uses in the movement, he's a traditionalist, but he's not a conservative, and he's willing to push the avant-garde and the state-of-the-art, and that's what he did with the original FP Journe Sport line. So it's a controversial watch, but it's undoubtedly a collectible, and it's a unique experience. There are very few high horology pieces that are almost forget you're wearing it light. Okay, so questions coming through. I want to jump to a question that was a little further back in the chat box. This is coming from Mocal11. Hi guys, what's your opinion of the Panerai P5000 in-house 8-day power reserve movement? Is it a solid movement or is it fragile?
That's such a subjective question. I mean, what are we planning on doing with our watch? I mean, Panerai as a whole, I mean, I trust the way they manufacture their movements. I've never had something not be reliable. I like the new in-house that they have. If this is a daily wearer for you, if you're worried about service costs, don't be. I mean, they're not going to put out a new product that is going to any further hinder anyone in further expenses they're going to see down the road, because that's going to turn off Paneristas everywhere. So unless you're going out and mountain biking with this thing or shooting your AR-15, you really don't need to be worried.
I would say this is the way to look at Panerai movements. Anything that's ETA is going to be basically bomb-proof. Don't take that literally. Because I've heard of a guy, I don't believe he was a customer of ours, he was a boutique customer, who dropped his watch like kerplunk onto a hard floor, and it broke. And then he called the boutique and he complained. He said, "I thought you said commandos wear this watch, and it broke when I dropped it." Guys, it's a luxury product. I think I know that, you know that, everyone who's remotely in touch knows that. So we have to put in perspective, what do you mean by durable? The Panerai in-house calibers are pretty robust. They're almost all free-sprung, fairly thick, built to withstand vigorous sports watch use. So I would say stop just short of what you'd expect of Rolex, and certainly for grand complications. If you've got like an equation of time Panerai, if you've got a tourbillon, go easy on it. But if you have something like a caliber 5000, if you have one of the new full balance bridge, like 3000 and 9000s, I would say you're good. The original 2000s were incredibly over-engineered and very tough. So treat them as robust movements, just not beaters. There are very few movements I recommend as outright beaters.